So hi everyone, I'm Ephraim from Tactical Logistic Solutions. I'm here with a good friend that I've known for a while, Emma from Marketing by Emma. So I just want to give you a platform to introduce yourself, tell people who you are and what you do.
Well, firstly, thank you so much for having me. It's great to see you after seeing you last week. And my husband, Erez, and we started Marketing by Emma in 2016. And what we set out to do then and what we continue to strive to do today is really help e-commerce brands be able to communicate who they are and why they're so great so that customers will choose them over any of the competition that's out there. So we do that through copywriting for things like Amazon listings, websites, and any of those texts that are helping people understand what it is that you do and why that's so exciting, so that not only they purchase from you, but so that they are excited by what you're doing, they want to follow what you're doing, they really become a fan and somebody that's going to be a repeat purchaser and telling other people about how awesome your products are.
Right. So what would you say is the most common mistake that you see by doing an analysis on different listings, helping sellers really get the best listings they could have on the copyright side or on the messaging or the branding side? What would you say the biggest mistake that you see people say hey, Emma, I'm really struggling. I have a good product. Pictures are beautiful. It's just not selling well.
Yeah, I would say one of the most important things to understand when we're talking about Amazon specifically is that you are not selling to a captive audience like you are on your own website. You have all of your competitors that are right there on the platform, eager to steal the sale away from you. And so you really have to have a strong understanding of what the competitive landscape is and how you fit into that. And you need to make sure that you're helping customers make a decision, because one of the things that can actually be very challenging from the customer side is to be able to actually understand what makes a product different from the others or why they should buy one product over another. And so if the seller isn't doing an effective job of that, then the customer is almost kind of forced to choose based on parameters like price or reviews, even if those aren't the things that they want to be making decisions about. That's kind of the fallback option if all of the other pieces aren't in place. And so that can look like a few different things. One way is somebody will start selling something, they look at all of the top sellers, and they're like, well, they clearly know what they're doing, so I'm just going to borrow from them and tweak it so that it doesn't look like I'm totally ripping them off, but that's essentially what they're doing. The problem with that is that you have these top sellers and you're just trying to play their game. So you're not giving any point of differentiation for why you might be better than or worth choosing over these other sellers that are already at the very top. So it's going to be very difficult to be able to compete against them, and you're really going to dilute your opportunities of being able to gain the traction that you would want to gain.
So basically, when somebody on Amazon comes and checks out listings, they don't really know your story or the other stories. They just see hey, comes up on top search. Hey, let me buy that. Versus if you really do a deep dive on your actual listing and really make it exciting and appealing why someone should buy your product, that's the right way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's kind of like, let's say that you're selling something. I feel like I always just choose examples of things next to me. So these are not eyesight glasses. These are glasses designed for helping be able to minimize the fatigue and strain on your eyes when you're looking at a screen all day. So you can see the reflection. They have the blue light blocker, but they're also, the lens is curved in a particular way to help take tension off of the eyes from staring at something very close up for long hours at a time. So it's supposed to be healthier for your eyes. Anybody that's selling a product like this, there's really not that much that they can differentiate on. You can have the style look a little bit different, but as far as those two functions, the shape of the lens and then the blue light blocking qualities, there's probably not much more that you're going to add to that. And so if you are not being thoughtful about how to create your own market niche, then it's going to be really difficult if you're wanting to come in, you don't really have many reviews, nobody knows who you are, to just sell these to a very general audience. But let's say I do a lot of research, I look at all of the top competitors, and I see that all of them are just talking in really general terms. So they're all just saying, these are really good blue light blocking glasses, great for looking at screens all day. And I say, okay, well, nobody's really getting into specifics here. Maybe I'm going to position these as really great for content creators. So maybe they're exactly the same glasses, but I'm going to really position it through their eyes, no pun intended, of what are the concerns that they specifically have. So even though the design of the product isn't different, the function isn't different, I'm really creating an opportunity for them to feel seen, understood, and reassured that this product is going to fit exactly what it is that they need.
We have another topic that is going to really be a hot topic in the next couple of months is Prime Day is coming up. They're saying sometime the week of July 12, 13, sometime mid-July. In your perspective, where do you think you could improve to really have a solid Prime Day? I mean, there's different aspects. There's the logistic aspects that we can handle. There is a PPC aspect where the other people are doing. There's so many different aspects how to make sure that you're successful on Amazon on Prime Day. So in your lens, like you just spoke about glasses, in your lens, what would be your recommendation for a seller to prepare themselves?
First of all, love the pun. Second of all, you're absolutely right. There's so much preparation that goes into Prime Day, and doing it well can really make it a huge success. Very similar to the experience that sellers have going into Q4 and the holidays, where competition is really fierce. Things can get really expensive really quickly. And so you want to make sure that everything is dialed in. So when it comes to Prime Day, if you're really going to be ramping up your PPC spend, or maybe buying some of, a lightning deal or things like that, you want to make sure that you are positioned to be able to capitalize on that. So any inefficiencies that you have in your business that are left unattended to are only going to balloon out and become more extreme on a day like Prime Day. And so making sure that you have all of those pieces dialed in so that you're ready to just press go and go hard and convert as many people as possible is very critical. So, if you're spending lots of money to drive traffic, then you want to make sure, first of all, that you're driving the right kind of traffic, but then you're also doing everything that you possibly can to convert as much of that traffic as possible. And so that's where a really well-optimized listing is so critical. So thinking about what keywords you're going to be wanting to target for Prime Day, and then thinking about how you can create a really cohesive experience for customers so that when they're, when they're seeing that ad and then clicking into your listing, that they're seeing what it is that they're looking for and feeling excited and confident about this being a good purchase for them. I think like one of the other things to consider with Prime Day is it's kind of one of those days where people end up buying a lot of things they didn't intend to buy because there's that buying frenzy. Right. And so how can you also take advantage of that? When people are like really in the mood to get some good deals, and then they start looking around and thinking like, what else do I need? And so for those impulse kind of purchases, great opportunities, but you also want to make sure that those impulse purchases are purchases that people are going to be happy about and they want to keep, because it doesn't really benefit you if you push a lot of sales that are then turning around as returns. That's really expensive and, takes up a lot of time and isn't great for the health of your account and relationships with customers. And so you also want to be thinking from that perspective. So really, how can you communicate with customers to get them excited, but also from a perspective of wanting to make sure that the right people are buying your product so that they're going to be satisfied and happy to keep it and continue using it in their lives.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What do you recommend? Like we just spoke about what you should do, but like what shouldn't you do on Prime Day?
I guess so. One of the things I sort of alluded to is I'm not a believer at do by any means necessary to make a sale. So if somebody isn't going to benefit from your product, it is not worth it to try to get them to buy it. That
Right.
opens you up to just so many problems, not even just the returns. It's an opening for negative reviews and a lot of negative buyer sentiment, which is really going to have a significant long-term impact on your business. So just being thoughtful about kind of what the long game is. And so even though Prime Day is a really exciting time and can be very lucrative for you, that it's still something that's just one piece of a much bigger thing that you're building. And so to have that full perspective in mind, I think is just very, very important.
So my last question would be, what does Marketing by Emma have to offer to anybody that's listening to here? Like, I know you guys have a really good free offer. And I think it could really help out a lot of sellers grabbing that offer.
Yeah, so we offer a free Amazon listing analysis, and now is really the best time to be thinking about these things. The other kind of don't do is don't update your listing on Prime Day or like a few days before Prime Day, because we know that sometimes Amazon does weird things and then your listing isn't visible, and you don't need that kind of panic and terror in your life. So in thinking about leading up and preparing properly, now is really a great time. We still have, potentially as much as a couple of months out before things are all hands on deck go. And so taking a look at things, figuring out what you can do to really get your product listing positioned well and optimized to perform at its maximum capacity, so that not just when Prime Day rolls around, but really long term, it's going to serve you in so many ways. So if you go to our website, marketingbyemma.com/free analysis, you can fill out a very short form and our team will look at it and provide you with some feedback of things that we see that if you'd like to just implement those things yourself, you're absolutely welcome to. We have people do that all the time and report back to us about the immediate results that they see from that. Or if you'd like our help in going deeper and taking over that revamp or that launch for you, then we would love to help with that as well.
That's amazing. Yeah, because I tell a lot of times sellers is like, every aspect of your Amazon business is vital, right? It's a really important part. I mean, there's logistics part, there's the advertising part, there's the software part where that helps you optimize or PPC, things like that. Like optimizing your listing is a huge piece. You might have everything in check. You've spent a lot of money on video, you spent a lot of money on pictures, you're spending a lot of money on PPC and logistics included, and then your core listings is not amazing. That's a huge piece and a core of your listing to be successful as needed. So I think that's a great deal for people that really want to increase their sales on Amazon and really get to know a deep dive on their listing and see where they're at, if they need help or not. So definitely we'll put that out there. And it was great to have you on.
It was great to be here. I loved chatting with you, and yeah, Prime Day is exciting, and I wish everybody the very best Prime Day they've ever had.
Exactly. We wish that the same. So perfect.